people gravitate towards me because I make good music, you know what I'm saying? Megan is a perennial star now, and I helped, you know what I'm saying? I was one of the building blocks to help do that, so I think people gravitate towards me. And also, I mean, I got a pretty cool personality too. I'm a funny guy and shit, so I think people just gravitate to me for all them things.
Where does that stem from, this funny side of you?
I remember in like 4th grade, my teacher, Miss Samples, would call me like the platinum clown or whatever. So, like, I was just always like, I love funny shit. I always been the class clown, you know what I'm saying? So, I just feel like I'm funny.
What school was this?
This was Cockrell Hill Elementary in DeSoto, Texas. This was like 2000, 2001 when she was telling me that.
Still keep tabs on Miss Samples?
No, I haven't talked to Miss Samples since then, but she was like one of my favorite teachers, but I have not talked to her since 2001.
Why'd you like her so much?
She was my first black teacher, actually, so I feel like that was one of the things, and she just kind of reminded me of my mom a little bit, so I feel like that's what it was too.
What grade was this?
This was 4th grade.
And when it came to the kids at that school at the time you attended, what was the ratio when we're talking race, ethnicity, nationality?
So in 1st grade, I'd say in a class of like 25, 23, you know what I'm saying? It was maybe, because my mom moved us to the suburbs, so it was maybe like 3 or 4 black kids, including me. And then the rest were like white, and then maybe like 3 or 4 Hispanic, you know what I'm saying? So by 4th grade, I'd say in the class of like 25, 18 of them were black, and like 3 were white, and the rest Hispanic or, you know what I'm saying, a different nationality, but it changed real fast in probably like 2 or 3 years, so.
When it was more Caucasian than black or brown, was that easy or hard for you to deal with, if you can recollect those feelings and emotions back then?
I feel like as a kid, I didn't really see race. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I saw that they looked different than me, but you know what I'm saying? I didn't really understand the difference between race, so I feel like it wasn't really a big, like, racism and stuff is learned and taught, so I feel like as a kid it wasn't that hard for me to have friends on either, you know what I'm saying?
When do you think you understood racism and that sort of aspect there? By what grade or what age do you think certain things started settling in?
I'd say probably like 9th or 10th grade. But really not even, because by 9th or 10th grade, like, it was only black people in my school. Like, I mean, we did have Hispanics and a couple of whites, but it was like 95% black, you know what I'm saying? So I really feel like I knew about racism in movies and my parents talking about it, but I feel like going to college, that's when I really, you know what I'm saying, start to see racism and just different things that other races was doing, because I got so used to being around my kind as opposed to being around other kinds until I got to college. I went to the University of Houston.
And what did you see there exactly?
It was the total opposite of high school. Like, it was like 70, 80% white people and 10% black. But all the black people were like hung together, so I was still around my people, but also around, it was just not necessarily a culture shock, but for lack of better terms, a culture shock. And I hadn't been around, like, you know what I'm saying, I didn't really have any Caucasian friends in high school, because I did, but I didn't. You know what I'm saying? We did have Caucasian people in my school, but it wasn't that many. So now I'm around like a million of them, and it's just different because now I'm the minority. Even though I am a minority, you know what I'm saying? But Now I'm really the minority at PWI.
And how'd you deal with it?
It was cool, but I got to school, I started smoking weed and, you know what I'm saying, doing things that I wasn't doing in high school, and then for more or less it fell apart and I got kicked out of school.
And do you think that climate, that environment, had something to do with that?
Really not the climate or environment, but more so just me being free. That would happen in any school I went to. It wasn't just that school. Like if I would have went to HBCU, that was the same thing would happen.
What'd you get kicked out for?
I was on academic probation and then I messed up again and academic suspension. You know what I'm saying? So grades. Like it's not that I'm not smart. It just got to school, started smoking weed and really focusing on my music, and then I wasn't going to class. I wasn't like doing anything but making beats and smoking weed, and then wasn't going to class, wasn't taking no tests. Like next thing you know, it's the end of the semester and I'm trying to scramble to, you know what I'm saying, do some makeup work, but this isn't high school, this is college, so they don't do that. So it just all went downhill. But it was for the better though. Like it made me go harder for real with my music. Like.
Now, was this freshman year, sophomore, junior, senior?
Sophomore year. So I made it through freshman year, and then I got to sophomore year, and then the second semester of sophomore year I couldn't come back, so I had to move back home to Dallas.
And when you're on academic suspension, how does that actually work? Are you just on suspension for the rest of the semester? You can come back.
You can
the
come
following
back.
year?
You can come back, but you have to like basically go to a different school, like maybe like community college, and just show them your transcripts. And if you have like, you know what I'm saying, you're passing or the required GPA or whatever it is, then they'll like enroll you back in the school. Maybe. But I didn't do that either. Like I went to community college, fucked up at community college too. I'm not doing anything but this music shit. Like, fuck this school shit.
What was the GPA that led to the suspension?
I want to say I had like a 1.3 or something like that. Like I was not going to class. I was not, like I was trying to cheat. Like it just was not working out. Like I just wanted to make beats and smoke weed every day when I woke up. Like fuck everything else. But it's like in high school, and also in high school, I coasted through high school. Like I was top 10% in my high school, you know what I'm saying? Like in the class of like 600, 700, I was like number like 60 something, you know what I'm saying? So I was smart. Like I was automatically accepted into University of Houston, but by the time I got there, I just realized that I really wanted to make music. I didn't want to be an architect like I went to school for. Like I don't want to do that shit.
Now, what led to the University of Houston? What drew you to that school initially?
I was supposed to go to Texas Tech, but then when I got there, it was too much of a culture shock at Texas Tech. Like, it was like 99% white people, and I was like, and it was in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, in Lubbock, Texas, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go there. So we went to go look at U of H, and then it's like, TSU is like right down the street from U of H. That's a HBCU, Texas Southern University. So I'm like, and my best friend ended up going there, so we like right down the street from each other. And it's just less of a culture shock. I'm like, if I'm going to jump in the pool, I'd rather it be this kind of shallow one than this super deep one over here, you know what I'm saying?
Why not the HBCU for you?
I really don't even know. I really couldn't even tell you because I just saw U of H. It was mainly because U of H was downtown and Prairie View, that was the HBCU, was in the middle of nowhere too. So I'm like, U of H is literally in more or less downtown Houston. So I'm like, nah, I want to be here. Like, I don't want to be in the middle of nowhere.
And University of Houston, that's a public college, or public university, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And do you take a break after high school, or do you go straight from graduation right to
Yeah, like graduation,
college?
then summertime, you know what I'm saying? So 2 months, and then August 2010, that's when I went to University of Houston. I graduated in May 2010.
You live on campus or off campus?
On campus. It was brand new freshman dorms, and we broke them in for sure. Like, that was up until, like, all the mega shit and, you know what I'm saying, getting signed, that was the best year of my life, for sure.
And when you reference signing, who was that to?
Sony ATV Publishing Company.
So you signed to Sony while you were still in college?
No. I'm just saying, like, I just signed to Sony last year. So I'm
2019?
Yeah, 2019. So that was what I said, 2010, that was the best year of my life. You know what I'm saying? 2010 and spring 2011, that my first year in college. Like, after college, basically everything was just like, I ain't gonna say terrible, but you know what I'm saying? I was struggling, lights off, you know what I'm saying? Like, raggedy car, just the normal stuff with somebody working, trying to get to a particular point. But my freshman year of college, I ain't really have nothing to worry about. Like, I'm in college, I'm in the dorm, I have a meal plan, like, but we drinking, smoking, like going to parties is lit, girls, you know what I'm saying? So it was lit.
Now, what led to the drinking, the smoking, and girls? Were you not used to that in your high school days or high school time?
The girls, yeah, but drinking and smoking, like, my parents was more or less kind of strict. Not really, but kind of, you know what I'm saying? So, and my mom is a Christian woman. I grew up in a, you know what I'm saying, church-going household. So all that, like, I seen that in high school, but I was on my, like, be drug-free, you know what I'm saying? But not saying that there's anything wrong with being drug-free. It's just like I got to college and I was like, I ain't never did this shit before. Let me see what it's talking about. It can't be, you know what I'm saying, that bad. People here are doing it, so let me try it. You know what I'm saying? Really just smoking weed. I really just enjoyed smoking weed the first time I did it. So I was like, let's do it again.
When it came to student housing, why go that route instead of living off campus?
It was cheaper, and University of Houston is, like, not really your typical college campus. Like I said, it's in 3rd Ward of Houston, which is basically a hood in Houston. And there's not, like, anything accessible around it. Like, you literally have to have a car to get anywhere besides on campus. So, like, my mom didn't want me to bring my car down there, so that's the main reason that I stayed on campus. I didn't have a car.
And what was
to bring down? I had a car, but she didn't want me to bring it down.
And what was that like, student housing for you?
It was lit. I'm telling you, like, we on campus, we don't have no rules. I think they enforced rules the next year because we were just so rowdy, and, like, I would bring my speakers downstairs. We would just, like, throw a party in the lobby. Like, it was going crazy. Like, best year of my life up until now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Authorities were never called. Those lobby parties were never shut
down. You know
down.
what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times the party was shut down. Like, it was college life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just everything was just crazy. Like, no adults. Well, I mean, we're adults. We're 18, but, you know, like, for real adults. So.
Ever get arrested during the college years?
Not the college years. After, but not the college years.
You had a roommate?
Yeah.
How many?
One each year. Like, the 3 semesters that I was at University of Houston, I had one roommate. Like, just a 2-person dorm.
And that was randomly selected?
Yeah. So my first roommate at the new dorms, he wanted to switch with me and his friend. So me and his friend would switch. And I was like, cool, because, I mean, I don't know you anyway, so I'm going to just go over here to somebody I don't know. So I ended up getting a 3-person switch, not knowingly, and then next thing you know, I'm with a foreign exchange student who, like, never leaves the room. I'm trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, do stuff with girls and stuff, and he's, like, not leaving the room. It was, like, super awkward, but I got through it, though.
How?
I remember one particular time he did leave the room because we was just getting too, you know what I'm saying, feisty and hiding there. So he did leave the room, but majority of the time I wouldn't come back to the room. I would just, like, be at somebody else's dorm or be at the on-campus, off-campus apartments or the on-campus apartments. Like, I would not be in my dorm. I would come back to sleep or, like, get some food from my little refrigerator or something, or my laptop.
So would you say dealing with roommates, was that easy or hard for you?
Um,
The college years?
It was easy. You know what I'm saying? He didn't bother me, I ain't bother him, so it was easy.
So it was a 3-person dorm, but it was only you and him?
No, it was a okay, so when you walk in our dorm, there's the bathroom, and then there's 2 doors, and then each door is 2 people. So it's like a 4-person dorm, but it's 2 rooms, and 4 people share a bathroom. But it's only 2 people in each room.
And is it the same sex in the dorm, or is it
Oh,
co-ed?
no, it's unisex. Like, it's girls next door to us, and then on the other side is guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like...
There can be guys and girls in that 4?
No. Oh. Not in the 4 thing, but I'm saying like the next door into the next 4, it'll have 4 girls in there.
But you didn't have any, aside from the exchange student, you didn't have any bad roommates?
No. Because my next one, the next semester, he was pretty cool. I don't even remember his name. I feel like I still follow him on Facebook, but he was cool. He left the room.
And he left the room for you. Would you ever have to leave the room for others?
No. I was gone a lot, so whatever, like I'm always gone, so I don't need to leave the room because I'm always gone.
When you want this person, this roommate, to leave the room, how does a conversation like that go?
I text them. Not my first roommate, the foreign exchange student, because I really, honestly, never talked to him. Like, we would, like, look at not even looking at each other on awkward stuff, but you know what I'm saying, just passing by, just, like, look at each other. But my second roommate, I cannot think of his name. My second roommate, I just, like, text him, like, you know what I'm saying, I got so-and-so or whatever, and then, like, cool, bro, I'll leave for a couple hours, you know what I'm saying, I'll go to the library soon. Like, all right, cool.
You haven't kept up with any of the past roommates, or they've kept up with you, or?
Mm-mm.
When it came to University of Houston financially, how did you afford it?
I got a couple of grants, loans, my mom a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So just a whole, like, any possible way I could pay for school.
No scholarship, though?
I had a couple of, like, small scholarships, but not, like, full ride scholarships, because I didn't play any sports in high school, so.
Well, there's also academic scholarships.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was smart, but I wasn't, like, valedictorian or anything. And really, I was too lazy to, like, fill out a lot of the scholarship applications, because by senior year, I was, like, had senioritis, and I was like, fuck all this shit, like, bring on college, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really filling out the scholarship applications.
Were the grants or some of the small scholarships that you did earn, were those easy or hard to get?
I feel like that's pretty easy, you know what I'm saying? I just filled out the application, or like one from our church. I really don't remember, other than like filling out for the ones, I feel like I filled out a good like 20 scholarship applications. I might have got like 2 or 3 of them. Like, it was just filling out the application, so.
Before you attended that school, University of Houston, what was its reputation?
It's pretty good, like pretty good reputation. That's kind of the reason I went there, so.
Did it have a reputation as something specific?
No, I don't think so.
Give me a review of that school for the time that you did go.
It was great. I enjoyed the people, the food was good some of the times, the dorm life was cool, the gym stuff was cool. The class, when I did go to class, like, I liked the environment. It's just like music and shit took over, and I would be in class making beats at the back of the class. But it was cool. I give it like a 8 out of 10.
How was the campus staff?
We really didn't see any staff, like, other than like people in the like library or the cafeteria ladies, like, and the teachers, like.
Yeah, the faculty and the professors.
Yeah, I mean, they were cool. I mean, I was barely going to class, so I might have talked to my professor on the first day of school, and then like trying to scramble on the, you know what I'm saying, 2 weeks before school's out, and I go to my professor's office like, I've never seen you before. I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying, I go to class a couple times. I'll be in the back, you know what I'm saying, so.
And didn't join a fraternity?
No.
What was your opinion of that? Why not?
I don't know. I just feel like that's not me. Like, if I would, kind of like, I feel like I'd be a Q maybe, but I feel like I'm small. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a tall guy, but I'm also small, so Qs are usually like swole, so I don't know. But that really just like didn't spark my, like, I don't know. It just didn't spark my attention.
You were doing beats in the back of the class on what?
I had a Dell laptop that my aunt bought me for graduation.
And did others know you were making beats? Did others know you were a producer?
Like in college,
Yeah.
or just yeah, but not. I wouldn't say I was a producer. Yeah, I more say I was just making beats. Like people knew that I was making beats, but no. By the time I got to college, like I was telling everybody, like yeah, I make beats, but I wouldn't say I was a producer. Yeah, I was just making beats.
Did you sell any beats to people on campus?
Couple here and there for sure. Maybe like $50 to $100 here and there.
Did anyone famous attend while you were there, or did anyone end up becoming famous that attended that school while you were attending?
Shit. Me? Shit. I wouldn't say I'm famous, but other than me, not that I know of.
Now, you talked about the reason why you got kicked out, and you tried the community college situation, and that didn't work out. Did you actually quit that, or you got kicked out of that as well?
No, so community college, when I moved back to Dallas, this was spring 2012. When I moved back to Dallas, I was going to Cedar Valley Community College. It's like right down the street from my grandma's house. So after class, I would just walk to her house at first. And then I ended up getting a car. Like I ended up getting a job in a car. So once I got a job in a car, I stopped going to school. But I would still come for audio engineering because I signed up for audio engineering and I went to that class. Like every day that we had class, I ended up making like an A+ in that class. Like whatever the highest score you could get, that's what I made. And that really helped me with my music for sure. But all the rest of the classes, I was not going to. And I wouldn't say I got kicked out of that because it's community college, but I just didn't pay for it anymore. Like the next semester, I didn't go back because I ended up moving back to Houston fall 2012 because one of my friends, he was going to Stephen F. Austin University in Nacogdoches, Texas, and then he got accepted into the University of Houston. After that, I already got kicked out, but he was like, yeah, bro, let's move back to Houston. I'm like, shit, I'm down with it. I ain't going to the University of Houston no more, but shit, I'm willing to move back to Houston. So we moved back. I tell my mom that I'm going to Houston Community College. I pay for it and everything, and I literally never attend a single class. Like never. I step on campus, pay for it, talk to the counselor, sign up for the classes, and then like on the first day of school, like I feel like I just woke up and like smoked and like didn't go, and then I just like never went. That was the end of school.
So technically, with all your credits, do you actually get an associate's degree?
Technically, I think I do technically have enough credits for an associate's degree, but like some of my credits don't count at University of Houston because they were D's, and D's count as credits, but only at that school. So those won't transfer over, but technically I do, but technically I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what was your parents' reaction to you getting kicked out initially, University of Houston, and then you signing up for the community college in Houston and not showing up, and that was that?
Okay, so obviously my mom was upset, you know what I'm saying? They want me to, I ain't gonna say they wanted me to live that life, but you know what I'm saying? They wanted me to have being a producer and actually making it is like a very slim chance. So, I mean, parents know that. And so she wanted me to just have something that was like stable. So, of course, when I messed up at school, she wanted me to like keep going with school. You know what I'm saying? So the first time I messed up and I had to move back home, obviously she's crying, Like, oh, I can't believe you did this, blah, 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 blah. So when I moved back to Houston, go to Houston Community College, and I don't actually go, I'm telling her that I'm going to school. Like, I'm the whole first semester of me living back in Houston, that was fall 2012, I'm telling her that I'm going to class. Like, cause she thinks I'm in school, and that's really the only reason she let me move back to Houston, because I had already fucked up the first time in Houston. So she thinks I'm in school. I'm really not. I forged a whole report card and everything at the end of the semester, but I feel like spring 2013, she had like asked me a question one day that like the only way I would know it is if I was in school. So I just had to break down and tell her I'm not in school no more. And then I feel like she was upset, but I don't know. And then like all that long time, she was like, I'm just like struggling with the music. So what was that, from like 2013 to 2018, 2019, I'm struggling with the music. And then she's just like, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Like, you was in school, now you're just doing this, and it's not really going like you haven't. Like, my first placement was 2013 with Gucci Mane. And I thought it was gonna happen for me back then, but it didn't. It was just like a come and go placement. So I'm just like struggling, and she like, I don't see it going anywhere. And then shit, boom, I meet Megan. Her mixtape Tina Snow comes out. You know what I'm saying? I do majority of beats on that. Big Ol' Freak starts coming on the radio. Just goes crazy, and then shit, all the hits come in after that.
What year was just because we've already established this chronological order of events, what year does the Tina Snow situation come about?
So 2017, Carl Crawford and T Fair start 1501. This was like May 2017. This was the first time I went to the studio with them. It was like May 2017. So I want to say I was doing all the beats for them all 2017. I was never signed. I say like December 2017, they signed Megan, or they like start bringing her into getting ready to sign her. So they sign her or whatever, or bring her in. We start locking in, because no producers in the city have like locked in with Megan other than DJ Chose. And so I see this as an opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know she was hard, I knew what she could do. So I'm like, I'm gonna lock in with her because I know she's hard, I'm hard, like, you know what I'm saying? We gonna make this work. So we make all the songs with Tina Snow. Tina Snow came out June 8th, 2018. And Big Ol' Freak starts coming on the radio probably like August 2018 maybe. And then it just like keeps growing. She signs to 300 maybe like November or December 2018. Is that right? Yeah. Then they repackaged the whole Tina Snow, re-put it out, shoot the video for Big Ol' Freak again. The video y'all see is like the third video. Like, we shot a lot of videos for Big Ol' Freak, but the one that's actually out is like the third video shot by after she signed 300, and then shit, everything just takes off after that.
And you've already referenced it in this interview, but 2019 was a very successful year for you since, I think you said 2010 or 2011, your freshman year in University of Houston. And between that, it was all a drought.
Yeah.
But what is your mother's reaction that things are looking up and 2019 becomes a successful year? How does she respond to that?
I feel like at first, when I was first telling them that Megan was like blowing up, they weren't believing it because like I was still broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, all this was happening for Megan, but I'm still like struggling, you know what I'm saying, selling beats here and there or finding money or however way I can. And 1501 was paying me like weekly, like a couple $100, you know what I'm saying, to come up there and make beats. So I feel like my mom really started believing it when I got flown out to Los Angeles by one of the publishing companies for them to first like you know what I'm saying, gear me up to like sign a publishing deal. So I think that was April or May 2019, like right before Fever came out, Megan's 4th mixtape, 2nd with me, but you know what I'm saying, like right before they came out, they were trying to gear me up to sign, and then I think that's when my mom started believing it for real. But I have a joint account, not a joint account, but I got a couple of bank accounts, and my mom is still, like, she can still see my college account. I still have a college account randomly, so I got a, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I don't know if I can think of it. I got an advance from BMI for Big Ol' Freak in like, was that August 2019?
Yeah, like
the end of August. And it was like the most money I ever seen at one time or ever had at one time. And it went to that account. And my mom saw it. So if she didn't believe before that time, she definitely believed when she looked in the account and seen that.
Care to share what that amount was?
50 bands. Yeah, like $50,000. So it was pretty cool. Like, cried and everything. I'm like it at the time, that was the most money I ever seen, but like that was life changing. Like right before that, I was like, I probably had $1,000 to my name, and of that 1,000, 800 of that was going to bills. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even more than that. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, that was just like a relief off my shoulder for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, now I can move around. After we got that advance, I went to go live in LA for like a month. You know what I'm saying? I worked my deal from the crumbs they was trying to give me at first to like the ticket, you know what I'm saying, like towards the end of the summer. So I was just like working that whole time. Like right after I got to the advance, I was just working all the way up until I signed my deal. What was that? October 2019?
And that was with Sony ATV Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when your mother for the first time finds out you get kicked out, how does she actually find out the University of Houston situation?
Like they probably like sent a letter or something, you know what I'm saying? Or like, I feel like it was a letter to the house for sure.
And then you have to explain.
Or like an email to, she got an email or something, I have to explain to her like, but really it was probably like showing her my report card. Like my mom was like one of the moms like, where's your report card? Where's your report card? And I was good at like putting it off for a long time. Like, oh, I ain't got it. I could do that for like two weeks. And then I would eventually have to show it to her. So once I showed it to her and she seen how low my grades were, like, and then we probably got an email. It was like, you're on academic probation first, so you can come back, but if you get anything lower than 2.0, you know what I'm saying, you're on suspension. And obviously I got that, so.
How did you forge the report card with the community college situation in Houston?
So my friend he was actually going to U of H, and I took his report card, put it in Photoshop, whited out his name, you know what I'm saying, all that information. Just made it look real professional, you know what I'm saying. I was kind of like a baby graphic designer, like I'm kind of good at that, so I just made it look all professional and neat in Photoshop, and then made it a PDF, and then sent it to my email, and then showed it to her. Like, and it worked at first until she asked me that question like later on, and then I had to like confess, but it worked at first. It worked for like a couple months. I feel bad, but I mean, look at me now, Mom. You know what I'm saying? So it worked out.
And that's what I was going to ask next. Did you ever feel regret, remorse, guilt, lying to her during that time, and then the forged report card? And
I ain't gonna say I feel regret or remorse, because I knew I was gonna be sitting here like having this interview. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew beats were gonna work out for me because I was too good at it. Like from the first day I picked up beats in 2008. Like I'm like, this is gonna be my job. I'm gonna get rich off this. I'm gonna get famous off this. Like, this is what I'm gonna do with my life. Like, nothing else. I don't wanna do anything else. This is what I'm gonna do.
looking back, did you make the right decision by ending the college scenario after the sophomore year, had enough credits for an associate's degree, but stopping at that point, did you make the right decision looking back?
I definitely did, because I feel like, for more or less, college is not a scam, but it is, but it's not. Like, if you know what you want to do with your life, you more or less don't need college. If you know what you're doing. And I felt like I knew what I was doing. I just was trying to figure the path out.
I do want to state, though, if you're going to school for wanting to be a doctor or a lawyer, things of that nature, you will need education too.
For sure. I'm not saying you don't need education, but some, like, college is not for everyone. So I wouldn't discourage anybody from going to college if that's what you want to do, but also if you don't want to go to college, don't feel bad because you don't want to go, because it's not for everybody.
How does one know whether it's for them or not?
That's a good question, because it wasn't for me, so I wouldn't actually know the answer to that. But I knew it wasn't for me once I got there and probably sold a couple of beats. Like, I'm not making any money going to class every day, but I'm making money with something I made on my computer. So let me be on this computer for a little bit longer than actually going to class. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with school. It just was not for me.
And for chronological purposes, when you have this feeling that school is not for you, would you say that was freshman year? Would you say that was sophomore year?
I would say that was probably when I went to community college in Dallas, 2012, because I was trying a little bit. Fall 2011, really the reason that I got on suspension for real, it was one class, it was English. I had a B in the class the whole semester, and I was being lazy at the end of the semester, and I got this girl to write my paper. Like, people could pay her to write papers. And I had paid her to write papers for me in like a different class earlier in the semester. I feel like she wrote like maybe like one or two papers for me earlier in the semester. So I was like, can you write my final? She was like, yeah. I paid her half the installment or whatever it was up front. And I'm seeing her like every day, passing her on campus, like, you gonna write my paper? You gonna write my paper? Yeah, I got you. Blah, blah, blah. So I feel like the night before the paper was due, she gonna hit me up talking about, I can't write your paper. I'm too swamped with other papers. And I'm like, what? Like, I could have been wrote this paper, and I'm seeing you every day, and you telling me you gonna write it. But I mean, it's my fault. I'm not blaming her, but I'm also blaming her. It's a little bit, she could have told me this earlier, but it's also my fault for trying to get somebody else to write my paper. But that one paper, one final, like, fucked up my whole college. Because honestly, if I would have did that paper and passed, I probably would have came back to the University of Houston that next semester. But had I came back to the University of Houston next semester, I wouldn't have got a car, I wouldn't have got a job, I wouldn't have went to community college and went to audio engineering, because we didn't have audio engineering. There was no like music program at University of Houston other than like bands. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have audio engineering, so I think it was a good thing.
And how much did that cost?
What, that paper?
Yeah.
Probably like $30, but I only gave her $15. Cause she did end up writing the paper, but after it was already due. I feel like the paper was due Friday night at like 11:59. She didn't tell me until probably like 9 p.m. the paper. So I had 3 hours to write like a 10-page paper. I was like, I ain't doing that shit, fuck it. I didn't just fail this shit. So I emailed my teacher and I make up some bullshit excuse on why I couldn't do the paper. Then she gives me like an extension to the next Saturday. Like the next day, she was like, you can turn your paper in. I'm not gonna grade it, but I'm gonna give you a D in the class just for turning your paper in so you won't fail. Like I said, D's are passing at U of H. So just so you won't fail, I'm gonna give you a D just because you did this paper. So the girl wrote like half the paper and I wrote the other half. And then she was still trying to get the full money from me, but I'm like, you only wrote half the paper and it was late and I'm finna get kicked out of college, so fuck you. You know what I'm saying? But neither here nor there.
Now, how do you find this girl? Do you?
It was a girl that like she was like be like hanging with us, like my crew or whatever. Like she would just be around. Like I seen her several times. We'll be in the party bus, whatever. Just like it was a known thing that she writes papers, and like I said, she had wrote like one or two for me already early in the semester. So I thought I was good. Like I'm like kicking back at the end of the semester, like I'm good. She finna write this paper. We finna coast next year.
How did those papers do that she did write for you previous to this situation?
I feel like I probably got like a B, A, you know what I'm saying? Like I passed for sure. Like it was worth it. That's why I got her, was trying to get her to do my final. Like.
Well, I guess that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if this was like a spontaneous random proposal or it was known she did papers.
Yeah, so. It was known that she did papers. She was telling me she was swamped with other papers. That's why she couldn't finish mine or even start it.
Did a lot of kids offer that service in college when you were attending?
If they did, I wasn't knowing about it. The only one I knew was her. So.
And you use her for papers in one class or several classes?
Probably like history and 2 times. Them first 2 papers in history, and then because I was writing all my papers in English, like that's how I had the B+ at first, but then this incomplete final just made my shit a D. So I don't know. I should have just did the shit, but I didn't. So.
And also, what job did you get? I know you mentioned you got a car and a job later on after the University of Houston situation, but what job did you end up doing?
I worked at Lowe's in lawn and garden, and then like after the like gardening season, they moved me to like unloading the truck.
Now I know you said that you made the right decision, but looking back, do you wish you would have finished college, got a bachelor's? Do you wish you would have skipped the whole college experience altogether and went straight to music? Or were you happy with some sort of experience under your belt?
I feel like I wouldn't change nothing that's happened to me because, like I said, my freshman year was fun. Like, that shit was amazing. I had never experienced anything like that. So, exactly how it happened, I'd do it all over again. Probably fuck up in school, too, because, I mean, it was worth it. At the time, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't at the time, but in hindsight, getting this long path to get here, it was worth it.
Did you choose the wrong school?
No, I chose the right school.
What did this, and you may have answered this already, but just in case you didn't or you want to add on to it, what did this entire experience teach you?
That I really wanted to do music for real, and then just how to be an adult, how to live on my own, like, without my parents, for sure. Like, half of turning me into a man.
If you could turn back the hands of time, would you have done anything different?
I would have learned how to play the piano for real. Like I would have took like the piano class U of H. I feel like we had a piano class, but even before then, I would have learned how to play the piano for real.
And why do you say that?
That just would help me with my music. Like I'm naturally musically inclined, but knowing how to play the piano for real would just like take my beats to just like out of this atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So.